We all have spirit animals, and yours are just waiting for you to acknowledge them so they can help you completely transform and level up in your life. But before we dive into that, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Hannah, and I help people to own their powers and step into the driver's seat of their own lives. And today we're going to be doing that by helping you to identify your main spirit animal so that they may guide you in a way a human never could. But first, what exactly are spirit animals? What is a spirit animal? So, spirit animal is a guide, just like any other guide, like a guardian angel, a guardian dragon, a deity that you may be working with, for example. But spirit animals specifically hold the archetypal energy of animals. There are certain qualities in every species of animal that we as humans can resonate with. And when we work with a spirit animal that embodies those qualities, we are then able to better embody those qualities ourselves or take on those qualities if we didn't even have them to begin with. They can also help us see kind of our weaknesses and our blind spots, like what we're not seeing. They can illuminate that and let us know what can be done to kind of overcome that. So we all have many spirit animals. At least I personally believe that. You may have your own beliefs, and that's totally cool. And many times these guys, they just come in for a short period of time just to teach us like a lesson, and then they're gone. Or maybe they're with us a longer period of time, and they kind of come in and out. They're come into the spotlight depending on what we're needing to learn in that moment, what our soul wants to learn. That being said, there is usually at least one animal spirit guide that is with you your entire life, and that is just constantly working with you, constantly supporting you, constantly teaching lessons. This is your main spirit animal, or your totem animal, or your power animal, whichever, I guess, terminology you resonate with, feel free to use. But I will just be referring to it as your main spirit animal because I believe that's the simplest term. Working with your spirit animal is so important, I believe, because it helps you to both discover and foster and develop your own innate strengths. We all have strengths, just as we have spirit animals. But I believe many of us, especially in this society right now, in this collective, we are so hard on ourselves and we don't really give ourselves credit. We may have a hard time acknowledging our own strengths. Your spirit animal can help you do that. They can help you gain confidence in who you are, and then they can actually guide you through the process of developing these strengths. You can also actually shapeshift and become your spirit animal. Once you've developed enough of a bond, they may let you take on their form. Now, I don't know if this is possible physically in this reality right now. I believe that someday maybe it will be once we have our ascension. But this is a very shamanic sort of etheric journeying kind of thing that you can experience. I personally have experienced it twice, being my spirit animal. It was life-changing, let me tell you. It was so freaking cool getting to just be an animal and to experience what that's like. So I hope that you too will get to have that experience, and that starts with identifying what your main spirit animal is. So how can you recognize what your main spirit animal is? How can you discover, how can you find your main spirit animal? First off, as I say, I'm a writer and an author, and I like to use the writerly term foreshadow. I believe the foreshadow is always there. If you look back in your life, if you reflect on your life, you'll see these patterns. You'll see the foreshadow of your spirit animal, and you'll recognize that your spirit animal has always been with you. Even if you weren't consciously aware of it at the time, even if right now you're confused as to who or what your main spirit animal is, Your spirit animal has always been with you. The foreshadow is always there, I promise. Life is made of a series of patterns. It's all interwoven, it's all interconnected. I truly believe everything happens for a reason. And once you can kind of step back, step out of the human experience a little bit and kind of view that, reflect on that, you'll start to observe all these different patterns in your life. And you can use that to help you identify like a variety of very powerful things. But today we're going to focus on using that to identify your spirit animal. So all of that to say, suffice to say, it's much easier to identify your spirit animal than maybe you realize. So number one, what's your favorite animal? See, simple, right? What's your favorite animal? Because that means if you have a favorite animal that you're like resonating at the same frequency as that animal, there's a reason that you were drawn to that animal, because you're vibrating on the same frequency, because they're likely a spirit guide for you. Even if not your main spirit guide, a spirit guide for you. But this is a great place to start. For me, lions have always been my favorite animals, and lions are my main spirit animal. And at first when I discovered that, I like, there's a lot of resistance because I'm like, it can't be that simple, right? Like I can't be so lucky to have my favorite animal as my spirit guide, right? Wrong. Like it really is that simple. We just like get in our heads and we overcomplicate it and we don't feel worthy and stuff. But if you have a favorite animal, likely that is your spirit guide. So I just encourage you to reflect on your life and think about what animal or animals were you always sort of drawn to. Even if you can't really think of one now or like one specific spirit animal, like when you were a kid, what were you drawn to back then? Because when we're kids, we often have a much clearer channel to our higher selves, to source, because it's like the transition from source is much more recent when we're kids, and we haven't taken on as much trauma in our bodies at that time. So we are much clearer and open to these things. So what was your favorite animal when you were a child? 2, if you're struggling to identify even a favorite animal or still having a really hard time reflecting on animals that you might be resonating with, you can always look at your astrology, or you can look to your zodiac sign in the various, zodiac modalities that there are. So the main ones that I am familiar with are the Native American zodiac, the Chinese zodiac, and the Celtic zodiac. And again, this tells you they're 3 totally different cultures, right? Yet they all work with spirit animals, because this is just something that it runs through all of humanity. All of humanity kind of can recognize that there's power in working with animals. So I would encourage you to just look up your astrology and look up your zodiac signs for all of those things. And maybe there's others as well, and just kind of see what animals pop up and if those animals resonate. So unsurprisingly enough, my astrological sign is Leo, and I'm super Leo about it. I actually have 5 signs in Leo, including my sun and moon. So when you look at my astrology too, it's very obvious that lion is my spirit animal. And even in my zodiac signs, the other animals, I believe my Native American and Celtic zodiac sign is the salmon, and Chinese is horse. And ironically, I've also resonated with those animals, and throughout my life, those animals have been spirit guides to me as well. And in the case of salmon, I actually love the taste of salmon. I love eating salmon. So it's like, sometimes it might seem weird how that spirit animal may appear to you, like weird, right? That I'm eating my spirit animal, I'm dominating it in that sort of way. But it's like, I can recognize now, it's like I'm kind of absorbing its essence. I'm absorbing the salmon as I eat it, right? There's always been like this innate spiritual component, this higher component as to why I've been drawn to eat lots and lots of salmon, I guess. Also, pop culture. What's your Patronus? What's your Patronus? Because that is also maybe a good indicator if you've gone on, taken the like official Patronus test on Pottermore, like that could be your spirit animal too. And basically, I love that the Patronus thing exists in the Harry Potter universe because that is basically spirit animals. Like that, their Patronus is their spirit animal. Like the stag is Harry's spirit animal. So yeah, Patronus is another great one to look at. So 3, if you've looked at all these things and you're still not resonating with the animals that are popping up, I want you to just, now that you've put this intention out to find your spirit animal, whether you're reflecting on the past or whether you put the intention out now and now you're just going to observe signs, synchronicities, and symbols. I just want you to start observing that. You can start reflecting on it or you can observe it now. But thinking of like what emblems, if you will, keep popping up. Like you might notice pictures of this animal places. You might actually like see the animal somewhere. Someone might bring the animal up to you. You might hear the animal like the referred to, like the species referred to. It's just paying attention, being aware of these signs and these synchronicities. And going off of that, it's like you might have always been drawn to just collecting this animal. Like you might just have a lot of plushies of this animal or like calendars or notebooks, you know, paintings, things like that. I know in my family, there's like multiple people that are, to use the Japanese word, otaku. It means like you're a super nerd for this one specific thing. Like my mom is a husky otaku at this point. She has like all this husky paraphernalia. My aunt is a white seal otaku. My grandma's a bear otaku. Like they're just like obsessed with this like one specific animal and they have like all this stuff that represents it. And then people start to know that they like really like this one animal and then we'll just buy them and bring them more of this stuff. So just being aware of kind of the recurring motifs in your life. 4, live encounters. This is a really big confirmation, I believe, of spirit animals. So I have had live encounters with like all of my spirit animals and usually like exactly when I need it. And many times it's just like completely random, like inexplicable, like freaky live encounters. And even with lions, which I didn't feel like at a certain point that I had a lot of live encounters, I realized that I actually did. Like my mom showed me that like when I was a young child, I got my picture with like a bunch of lion cubs. Back when this was like allowed. Now it's like not even allowed, I guess, where I'm at to do this sort of thing. But I was like she got a picture of me with just like a bunch of lion cubs like all around me and stuff. And I was just chilling with like lion cubs ever since I was like a small child, I guess. And then just this year, I had an experience where I was animal communicating with a lion cub at the zoo. And it was like very much physically reacting to it. And like everyone around was like, oh my God, like what's happening? She's like totally talking to that lion. And I will include a picture of that for your reference. But yeah, the lions in the zoo were just like, yeah, that's our sister out there. We can feel that. We can feel that energy. And it was just so funny. I really wished I could have just like transported myself like inside that lion compound and just be with all my lion brethren there. So finally, number 5, and this is where we get more kind of spiritual about it. Meditation, my friend, meditation. So maybe going off of this too, dreams. Like maybe you've had lots and lots of dreams with this spirit animal, because that's a thing. But it's basically dreams are a form of meditation too. It's just kind of like a subconscious meditation. Whereas when you're awake and you're meditating, that's like a conscious meditation. So now that you have kind of put out this intention to connect with your spirit animal, I want you to do a meditation and see what animal appears to you. And you are in luck because I actually have a free meditation for connecting with your spirit guide, which I will link up here for you. And this works just for any spirit guide, but for the purposes of today, you can use it to connect with your spirit animal. So if this is something you're like super excited about and you're really feeling drawn to maybe discovering your spirit animal, working with your spirit animal, shape-shifting into your spirit animal, you are free to join the House of the Spirit Dragon, my personal community and mystery school and group coaching container for awesome people such as yourself. Because this month, as of posting this video, we're going to be focusing on spirit animals. We're going to be identifying our main spirit animal, our shadow spirit animal, and our higher spirit animal, and defining those and exactly what they mean. And we'll also get a chance at becoming them. And that's going to be this month only. And the doors to the House of the Spirit Dragon are currently open just for this week only if you're interested in joining. And if you're watching this in the future, know that there will be recordings of these so you can actually get in on this still if it's the future and it's not the month of January 2023. So I hope to see you there for this like powerful, transformative experience. But if not, as always, my friend, much love to you from me and the dragons. If you could like this video and subscribe and hit the notification bell to be updated when I post on my super erratic schedule, that would be super appreciated by me and the dragons. Not an ego thing. We just kind of, that helps the algorithm along. That helps this information get out to more and more people that are seeking it. So we would super appreciate if you could do that one thing. Let me know in the comments what your main spirit animal is, or at least what you suspect it is, because I am always super, super curious to know. And as always, my friends, until next time, stay powerful.